Welcome. I am Shaina Bilow, knitwear designer, knitting instructor, and I'm going to do a Ravelry tutorial where I demonstrate how to post projects on Ravelry, how to look in groups, how to do different searches, and then answer some questions for the guests that we have here. So I'm just going to dig in right away and start sharing my screen and showing you my Ravelry page. My first goal of tonight will be to post projects. So one of the projects that I have, first I'll do a little commercial. One of the projects that I have is my new, what did I name this? Crosshatch wrap, made in fingering weight yarn in a hand dyed that has expanded spaces of certain colors. And anytime I get to those colors, in this case, the pink, I do a fancy stitch. So I have to post my project to my Ravelry page. I also forgot to post my vest that I made, and I have a really fun, a really fun, I can't think of the word, knit along, mystery knit along, and I want to start pages for that too. So I'm going to show everybody how to post 4 different projects, and then we can get into some search questions, group questions, and other things like that. So welcome. I am so glad you're here. All right. Okay, this is my Ravelry page. Can everybody see the whole thing? If it's taking up your whole screen, just press escape and hopefully it will close to be a little smaller. Okay, so here we are. I'm on Ravelry. The first thing I want to do here is go and post projects. I really want to get a project posted. So I'm going to go to my notebook right here. And when you just click my notebook, it goes immediately to projects. So I'm up here for my notebook and I'm clicking projects, but it happened to have gone immediately to my projects. So these are all of the projects that I have posted, that I've made and posted, but I have 4, as I mentioned, that I have not posted yet. So I'm going to add a project right over here. I meant to make my mouse cursor a little larger. All right, so witchcraft, it was knitting. If you've crocheted like Linda did, you can put crochet. If you did machine knitting, etc. Here I did knitting. I think that's the default. I'm going to first post my crosshatch wrap. So this that I'm writing here, the name of my project, that happens to be whatever I want to name it. I could call this super special shawl for Sarah or whatever I want to name it. Here is where I actually put the pattern name. So what the actual pattern name is called. This is my own personal name about the project. Here, I'm going to write crosshatch wrap. And that right there, when I press continue, that's the one that will actually link to all the patterns named crosshatch. And so I would choose the one that I did, the one that I needed and the one that I did. Okay. So here I'm going to, I've knit a lot for myself, clearly. You can write who it was made for. So sometimes if I make something for my sister, I'll type her in. And sometimes the name just pops right up if you're lucky, depending on if you know the person's name. Size made, I made the scarf. It's nice to kind of keep track of sizes and things that you made so that if you want to go back and knit that piece again, you know what you did. So for this, I used a size 6 needle. You can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to fill in the gauge from the pattern because guess what? It was my pattern and that was my gauge. So that was convenient. But if you feel like it, if your gauge was different, you can jot that in here too. Add yarn. Here, this link symbol right here, that indicates that you can find the yarn on Ravelry. So I used Yarn Snob fingering, and let's see what pops up. Yarn Stop, a good fingering. So I'm going to click that. And did he even write down? Nope. All right, so I'm going to write Lily, and we'll call it a navy or blue. Blue purple has that. And I used 2 skeins. So this is wonderful to type in, not only for yourself, but for posterity. So people will be able to see what exactly you used in terms of your yarn, what color you used. If you've ever searched on Ravelry and found a project of somebody's that you love, and they have this information, you're in good shape because then you can replicate it. If you purchased it at a store, you can link your store to. And those are all nice things to do for the yarn companies and the stores, because then they know that you're knitting with their yarns and their pieces. So here, these are your project notes. Everyone with me so far? To keep me posted. Okay, here are my, and I'll do another few patterns. I have a couple other projects to put in. So here, I designed this shawl for my friend Keith, etc. If you made changes to the pattern, you may want to write them down here. Again, if you've ever seen a Ravelry project page that was super helpful for you, be that person for somebody else. You know, it doesn't take long to just write, I used, you know, this yarn in this way, or I cut my yarn a lot, whatever it is. I've never done this, adding private notes. But you could write things like that to yourself, or I never want to knit this thing again, or, you know, whatever your private notes are. Or if you have very specific pattern notes where you'd be giving away the pattern, this might be a good spot to write them so that you have them for yourself, but other people can't necessarily, you know, steal the pattern from the page. All right, before I press save, and I know I'm going quickly, I'll try to slow down. I'm very excited to be here. Before I press save, I'm going back up to here. I finished my piece. I am mega happy with it. It bothers me that there's a finished section here and then a progress section here. I guess that's if you're unfinished or in progress, you can mark exactly where you're at. But I feel like if you write finished, then the progress should say that. If you want to, you can say when you started the piece. I'm just going to come up with arbitrary dates, and when you finished it. Just for yourself, you can do that. And then if you are in a group, you can share this with the groups that you're in. So I'm going to share it with Shaina Bilow Designs, and we'll talk about groups too. I'm going to share it with Knits All Done. That's Keith's page. You know, wherever you want to share it to, and I'll show you how this pops up in the groups when we get over to the group section. Then if you don't mind, when you are putting in a pattern, something that you've done, if you could rate the pattern, especially if it's one of mine, I'd love it if you rated it 5 stars. If you didn't love the pattern, you would rate it 1 star. If the pattern was super clear and easy to follow, it's a 5 star. If the pattern was like, good luck knitting this, then maybe it gets a 1 star. All right. And then difficulty rating is how challenging you found the piece. So that on average, if someone's looking at a pattern, they can see, oh, people really liked it. They thought it was clear, and most people thought it was easy. So it helps other knitters when you rate your patterns. Okay, so I'm going to save. Well, let's see, actually, before I save, it used to be on Ravelry that you had to save before you added photos. But let's see what happens if I go to add photos now. Oh, I can do it. Okay. So a note about photos. What you can do if you are not super tech savvy and your stuff is not stored in a cloud, so you've taken your pictures on your cell phone and somehow you can't access them on your computer, you can do what I do, which is email yourself the photos from your phone and then download them onto your computer. And then from there, I organize them into different files. So that is my very technically unsavvy. So here we go. I made myself a whole little file here of Ravelry photos. Okay, so this is the crosshatch wrap. So I pressed the control button on my keypad and I clicked all of those patterns at once, all of those photos at once. And I put them in here. So now right here, it says I have 6 files chosen. With Ravelry, it's not automatically uploaded. You have to click the upload now button. So that it's like a 3-step process. So in addition to finding them on your computer and clicking them, you then have to click upload. And then you can organize them in whatever way you want, whatever photo you want to appear first on your page, etc. You can see what I'm doing here. Additionally, you can crop your photos. You can recenter them, whatever. It's not a photo editor by any means, but sometimes if you want a certain part of your photo to show, like say you have a rectangular photo like this one, maybe you want the top of the shawl to show or the bottom. That's actually kind of cool, the bottom showing. I'll do that. And then finished with photos, and beautiful, there it is. And so at this point now, I would click save. And now if I go into my projects, voila, there it is. I just noticed there are some questions on the chat. Okay. Oh, that's neat. So Susan has an app that she uses on her phone, Alpaca it's called, and it adds photos to projects started. That's nice. Okay. Hold on, let's see. There were some questions I missed. Okay. Oh, hi, Kim. I'll show you again because I'm going to be, Kim asked how to start the project page. I'm doing 3 more projects. Don't worry. I have a backlog. Julie, if you post a project on your own Ravelry page that you knit from one of my patterns, Shaina's, how would others find my notes? Awesome question. And I will show you that too. All right. So let's go to the crosshatch wrap. This is the main page for crosshatch wrap. So someone searching on Ravelry for my pattern would find this one. This is the one they can purchase the pattern from right here. So this has all of my notes as the designer about what's required, yarns, whatever, etc. All the different designs I sell, all of the ratings that they got. So, okay, so I got someone rated me a little less than 5 on clarity. Must have been one of my testers. I've updated the pattern since, whatever. So this is my actual designer page for the project. Here, if you click on 5 projects, or if you go up here to projects, we'll go to either one, it's the same. Now I can see everybody who's knit it. So we're going to go to the lovely Beth right here. And we can go right here to her page. This is what I just did for my crosshatch wrap. This is what Beth did for hers. Alexis, good question. Hang on, I will answer that. So, okay, so we've got it all. She's got all the ratings. She rated the yarn as well. I think I've knit with it before and rated it before. These are the groups she shared hers with. And Beth had no notes right here, which is fine. So it gives you all the info here of what she used, also the color that she used, if you love her color, etc. So that's how you would find your own, Julie. I hope that makes sense. I can see you. So did that make sense?
Yeah, I was just typing something and thought I'd just say it. So if let's just say I knit this and I post it on my Ravelry page, if I tag you in the groups, then somebody else looking at that pattern would be able to, from your page, would be able to see whatever comments or notes or things that I made. Is that right? Let's see.
Yes, you can tag an actual project in groups. Yes, you can tag either my project or yours. So I'm going to go, yeah, I'll kind of zip through that too as we do groups, as we go into the groups.
Yeah, so, because yeah. I get, like, if I was going to do, looking at it from the other way, if I was going to knit one of your projects and I wanted to see if anybody else who would knit it, you know, had comments or suggestions or whatever, I would find that through your page.
Yes.
But those people had to tag your group in order for those to appear on your page, right?
Not necessarily. So here I'm back. Okay, let's go right here, back to my crosshatch wrap, the main page. So this is the main pattern page someone would see when they were buying the pattern. So not my personal project. This is the pattern page. I know it's confusing because I just posted the same thing in my projects. But here's the page someone would see for the main pattern, and you could go to comments and things will pop up in here if the pattern has been linked in other places, or if someone had anything to say about it. Often it will pop up there in comments. And then, yeah, I guess these are just some other things. So if people have it in their queue, so these lovely people have put the pattern in their line, then they can see it that way. But these comments help, but if someone had very specific comments sometime in their project page, you'd have to sift through their project pages to find. If someone has changed something tremendously, you'd have to go to their project page and hope that they posted. Yeah, okay. So that's that project. So let's go back to the main. When we first enter Ravelry, here we go. This is the page we are typically shown. And if I want to add a new project to my page, I'm going to go to my notebook, projects. And Alexis, yes, I will link the YouTube video. Thank you for the reminder. I meant to do that. Here I am. These are all the projects that I've posted. I'm going to post my underground vest. So I'm going to do that one now because I never did that. So just a refresher, So my craft is knitting for this project, not crochet or machine knitting or anything else. I'm going to call this the s'mores vest. Yeah, because that was the original name of the pattern before I took photos that really gave it a better look for underground vest. So this name right here is the one that you choose for your project. So Harrison's super special blankie, and then this is the specific pattern name so that it links. This is how you link it. So once you've written in the pattern name, and Ravelry, I have to say, is not the best with their search. You have to be exactly right. So if I spelled underground incorrectly, or if I got something wrong in the name, it might not find the pattern as quickly as I would like. So anyway, underground vest, continue. And now here are all these things that somehow have to do with the word underground. So underground knitwear is there, but here's my vest. Fortunately, it popped up on top. If you don't have the name written right, it might be that you have to scroll down. And then you're going to choose that pattern. And then here I am in the page where I'm going to fill out everything. Made for myself, size made. This is an important one for you if you want to go back later and remember what size you did. Needle, oh, I forget even. I forget. I don't know why I never posted this project, but I didn't. And so I've forgotten a lot. Finished. I'm happy. Let's see. I usually don't rate my own patterns. When I did that on the other one just to show you, but typically I don't. I feel like that's unfair. So if you loved the pattern, you give it 5 stars. If you thought the pattern was written well, give it 5 stars. If you don't, less, of course. And then the difficulty rating, however easy or challenging you found the project, you rate here. And that helps other knitters. I'm going to give it that I do rate. That helps other knitters know if it's something they want to knit. Whatever your project notes are. I didn't veer from the pattern at all, so there's nothing for me to say here, except I knit this over a weekend, and it was so fun. Or whatever you want to write, and then you can add private notes, etc. Share with a group. Again, I'm going to, you know what, I'll share with Anthropology Knits. I feel like the people in that group would like it. I happen to have used a yarn by Barocco, so I'm going to share with them. I'll share with my own group, etc. And you just go down the list of any group you're in, and I will show you the groups in a moment. All right, add photos. Again, you find your photos in whatever folder you've hid them in. Choose files. Here we go. I pressed Control here, and I'm selecting all 4 at once. If you don't do that, you would just keep repeating, opening the file, putting in a pattern. Again, Ravelry does not automatically upload them. Once you've chosen your 4 files, you then click Upload Now, and then Ravelry uploads everything. So and here, for those of you who missed it, you can crop your piece to show which part of the pattern, which part of the photo, oop, I didn't press save here, which part of the photo you want to appear. And you can reorganize your photos to have whichever one be the first that you would like. Okay. And then once you're done with that, you press Finished with Photos and Save. And now if I go to my projects in my notebook, it's right there. Does that make sense to most folks? Are you feeling okay? I'm seeing a couple nods, etc. Okay, splendid. So you know what? I will wait I won't do my other 2 projects because really I think we've got it, and I want to get into groups and all the other things. And oh my gosh, it's already like 8:20. We obviously we can hang longer because this is exciting. All right, so we figured out how to post a project. Next step, what is going on Ravelry? Let's figure it out. I'm going to go to my profile. Right here, I'm clicking on my face here in the top, and it takes me to my profile. So if you don't have anything in your profile and you want to share more information about yourself, you can click Edit Profile and do just that. So if you have an Instagram page, you can link your Instagram, and sometimes photos from your Instagram will upload to Ravelry. if you tag them with Ravelry. So that's kind of fun. Let's see here, since I have designs in my own yarn, I have them up there, but so you can edit your profile. You can change your photo on your profile right here, add profile pics or delete old ones that you don't like anymore. Basically that's kind of what you can do here. I linked my blog on my profile. I have all of my social media channels, and you can put those too for yourself, so that friends can find you. People who want to learn more about you and your projects can find you. All right, so this is my profile. It shows all of my projects right up here, shows the yarns I have stashed, patterns that are in my library. So this is where you go after you've purchased a pattern to find it. So here we go. These are all the patterns in my library. Often I put my own patterns in there so that I can download them for students and things like that quickly if I need to. But any pattern you have purchased on Ravelry will be in your library. Additionally, if the pattern got updated, there will be a little line here that says update. And this was from when I updated 2 years ago. There we go. So the new version is now in my library. At one point I had changed the way my patterns were written, so I updated those. But so anytime there's a change, or if they found a mistake in a pattern, it's going to be updated there in your library. And you can also get to that instead of going through your profile up here and clicking library. You can also go to my notebook right up here in the top right and go to library. You'll notice here I have pro. That's because I have a business account. So you will not have a pro account. So here you've got your library. We did projects. The queue are not necessarily patterns that you are knitting right now, but it's patterns that you want to knit. I don't have anything in my queue right now. I cleared it out a while ago just because I felt a lot of pressure. But if you wanted to add patterns to your queue, you can look them up. So let's say I want to knit the crosshatch wrap, since it's on my mind. You can link it. And this is my crosshatch wrap, the designer's name right there. Okay, beautiful. Save changes. You can even write what yarn you want to use. So it's just an interesting thing to do if you like to be organized. Same with the stash. You can put what yarns you have in your profile. So this yarn, for example, Eat Sleep, the Mano Stella Uruguay Gloria. I'm going to click on that. All up here. So that's the yarn that's in my stash, but here's the main page for this yarn. And if I go to pattern ideas, patterns that are sort of approved or have been knit many times in this exact yarn are going to pop up right here. So if you have a yarn at home and you don't know what you want to do with it, put it up in your stash or search it under yarns right up here, and you can find pattern ideas. You can see what colors other people have in their stash that they've photographed, which is kind of fun to look at. Another thing I like to do here, so let's say, what color is this? Petunia. If you look up just that color, you can get a sense of what it shows up like. Well, that did not work. Never mind. Sometimes when I'm trying to find out if a color is what I think it is, I look it up on Ravelry. If I'm about to buy something online, I'll look it up on Ravelry or Google just to see if it really shows up the way that I like it. Buying options, these are different stores that have or had the yarn where you could buy it. So if you are running out of the yarn and you don't know where to find it, if you can pop into Ravelry to see what local stores have it. If you want to see what other people have made in the yarn, here it is. So these are all things that were made in that very specific yarn that I had put in my stash. And you don't have to put the yarn in your stash to look that up. You just go up here to yarns. But I'll show you in a minute how to actually search for patterns. Once you're in that yarn, once you're in the projects that people have done, you can look here for, over on the side, only projects that are knitted. Let's say you only have 2 balls of yarn. So I've got this much yardage, am I? Okay. I can see what people have made using just 2 balls of yarn right here by using some of these fields on the left. Okay. And Julie mentioned that some people sell their stash through Ravelry, which is correct. So I'm going to go back out of this going to go back. Okay. So details, I'm going to go back into the stash up here. And let's see, right up here, I'm going to go to the status, will trade or sell right here. If I need extra of this color right here, this person is willing to trade or sell it to me. So maybe they want some yarn I have, maybe they'll send it to me, you know, for whatever, through, if I Venmo them, you reach out to that person. So actually, let's say I do want to reach out to this person. I'm going to click on their name. This is the yarn they have. This is their name right up here. M Mountaineers. I'm clicking that. And then right here, I would click message and say, hi, Caitlin. I saw you have yada yada yarn on sale or for sale, and I'd like to purchase it. Let's see, I think you can also, yeah, you can send a specific message right here. And I don't know if, yes, stash inquiry. It'll give them the heading right there for what you're interested in buying. Okay, so that's very specific in terms of yarn and how that links to your stash. But here I am writing yarns again. This is the main yarn page for Ravelry. And what I'm going to do, browse yarns right here. So this one, I don't know if it's the same as patterns where the most popular is at the top, but let's say I'm looking for just the right yarn for my project. I want a DK weight. I want to knit with, I don't know, a goat, of course. Any goat, I'll knit with any goat yarn. And here are goat yarns that are in DK weight. So you can filter out to find your exact piece. Now, let's do the same with patterns. So we'll do patterns now, and then we'll talk about groups after patterns. So when you get into Ravelry, you can do a couple things. You can go to your notebook and add a new project. So way over here on the right-hand side, you can check right here to see if you've got any mail. So those are private notes that somebody has sent you on Ravelry. So if you've done test knitting for me, this is where you'll find your test knitting free pattern code. Here are things, these are conversations that people maybe have replied to you on group chats. All right, but here on the main page, this gets you to the main Ravelry blog, essentially. Patterns gets you to the main patterns page here. So what you'll see in the hot right now, these are the top designs for the last 24 hours. And that's always fun to look at to see what people are really going wild for. And you can just scroll and see what the hot new things are. If you've seen something on Instagram that everyone's talking about, likely it will be up here. So that's an easy way to find it. But yeah, the top pattern is going to be listed as the first. So Knit It Cozy right now is the top pattern. Now let's say you have parameters of what you are looking to knit. I want to knit an adult sweater for myself in worsted weight yarn. I don't care what gender they think a sweater is for, but you can go through all these fields and choose for yourself how you want it to be. So let's say I want an oversized fit. Okay. This is whether or not it's already something you own. If it's already in your queue or already in your library or whatever. I want to knit my sweater. I don't want to crochet it. It's clothing and it's a sweater here. And I want to knit a pullover. So I'm putting in all these fields and you can see each time I do it, there are less and less options for me. So it's narrowing down my choices. Now, let's say I am on a tight budget at the moment and I don't want to pay for a pattern. I could click free. Or if I'm okay with anything, I'll just leave it all blank. Or if you definitely want to purchase it, you would click whatever you click here, what works for you for your budget. Let's see if you have specific things you'd like to do in this sweater. Let's say I want to have a seamed sweater. I love seams. I'm clicking seamed. All right there, that took away a lot of sweaters patterns for me. That was the construction. If I want to do something with intarsia, maybe I can click that. Design elements, maybe you get the idea. I'm choosing exactly what I want. Let's see, anything else there? Not necessarily, but then down here, my yarn weights. You'll notice these numbers on the right with everything we've been looking at. The yarn weights here are listed. So there are 90 options for worsted weight sweaters that have intarsia. And here they are. It's slim pickings. Let's see. So, I mean, this one's pretty cool. Let's see. So perhaps that's the one I want to knit. And that's interesting. It was worked sideways. So, but you get the idea. So those are very specific. If you want, you can save this search. Let me just find where. Save search right here. You can save the search or share it. If you have a friend who I'll do this for my students sometimes when I'm helping them find a pattern to knit. I will share the link to this search with them, or you can save it. And let's see. Oh yeah, so I have here in my saved searches, sweaters for my son, sweaters for Harrison. And here, for whatever I was looking for, these were the ones that popped up. That one's adorable. Anyway, you get the vibe. And this one is so cute. Oh my gosh. All right, so I see this sweater. I love it. I'm saving it in my favorites right here. You can write notes. Okay, must make for Harrison. Fine. I'm going to save changes. And now that's saved in my favorites. So if I'm ever thinking, what was that amazing sweater I wanted to knit for Harrison with the Stegosaurus? I go into my notebook up here and I click favorites. And there it is. All right. Same as the lizards Harrison wants me to crochet for him. You get the idea. Or sweaters that I love or whatever. Sometimes I'll favorite projects that people have made with my design. Anyway, all right. So those are just some ways to save patterns and look at patterns. Does anyone have questions about the pattern searching feature? Okay. And just to show you again how you can get back in there, I clicked here earlier into the browse patterns in this order, but the clicking right here, advanced search, or clicking the empty search bar takes you back to that main pattern page where everything is showing. Over a million patterns on Ravelry, and they're showing 10,000 at the moment. So you can then narrow it down into the category of what you'd like to knit. Cool. So we've talked a bit about patterns. We talked a little bit about yarns, and it's the same thing. You can search for your specific yarns with the advanced search and then narrow down what you need for your project just to get yarn ideas. Once you're in those, so here again, these are the top yarns. Once you're in the yarn, you can go to pattern ideas and see what they've used, what's suggested for that specific yarn, if you're curious, or what a lot of people have made in that yarn. And you can narrow down and you can really get lost forever in there. Okay, so now we'll head over, since we've done patterns, yarns, we'll go to community. All right, so in here, we've got a lot of different things. These are some of the groups that I belong to and the chat boards that are open on those groups. Typically, when I sign in to Ravelry and I check my own group that I'm a member of, I come to community, but I scroll down to groups right here. And this is where I see all the groups I am a member of. One of which being Shaina Bilow Designs. Please join my group. All right, so in Shaina Bilow Designs, I've linked a lot of different things you can do. Here, right here are my shared pictures. And you can view all projects right here. These are things people have shared with my group recently. So there's the lovely Beth. Here are all my projects. So I always share my projects with my group. But this is fun. Someone's yarns for the mystery cowl. Okay, and then you can click on those projects and see what they're all about. It's another way to find projects based on a group that you're a member of and things that might be of interest to that group. All right, so here I am on the main page of my group. You can join the group by clicking the button that says join group. Right now mine says leave group. You can invite friends to some groups that you think they might like. Right down here are the chat boards in a group. So if you were curious where I will be teaching next, I've got my virtual classes here. You can scroll to the bottom and find out, oh, okay, Shaina's teaching basics of brioche on Monday from this time online, and you can register. So that's one thing I post, but I've also got a question board. People can ask questions to me. I've got details about all the new little things I've got coming up. So my mystery cowl knit along, I've got a board, and then when that starts, we'll have conversations down below. And you can either reply to people's conversations. So if you love Feather Knit's stash right here, you could reply and say, amazing yarn, you're the best. You can chat with people specifically or reply just to their posts. Or what you can do is click reply to thread. So let's say you are on a chat board, you're in one of these groups in a chat, and you want to reply to the main, or don't want to reply specifically to anything on the chat, you just want to add your own 2 cents, you can just click reply to thread and it will start a whole new conversation within the thread. It's very nuanced and nobody really knows if you're replying or not to them. It's not such a big deal, but yeah, so that's one way to add in. Lila, do you have a question?
Yeah, if I wanted to join your group, what would I do? How do I handle it?
You would go, great question, actually, because that piece I didn't get to. All right, you're right, I didn't explain that. So in community, scroll down to groups. And then in groups, you can look up Shaina Bilow.
Okay,
and
that's
then I'll
easy.
pop that way. Yeah, so when I was coming out with my Hanukkah yarn set, I ended up going into here. I shouldn't have done this. It's not, I didn't realize it at the time, but it was not cool of me. And I looked up Jewish knitters and a couple groups popped up at the time or whatever. And then I went into the groups and I mentioned, hey, I've got this very cool thing that this cool knitting box. I should not have done that. One of the groups I got permission to post, but one of them I didn't. And they tagged me. I got in trouble. So now I know. But anyway, so you can search in here to find groups that you're interested in. Let's say you love the show Outlander, like me. Outlander fans right here. Outlander knitters, people who have knit all the things in, that they've knit in Outlander. So you can really find groups that are into whatever you're into. So mystery novels, for example. Okay, or however you may have to search again. Ravelry search is not the most intelligent, or it's not an amazing search feature. So sometimes instead of mystery novels, you may have to write mystery books, and then look at that. So many more things popped up. So if you're looking for something very specific, I would try a few different phrases for it when you are searching. But yeah, Acorn TV watchers or what have you. And some posts. So this group has 48 posts per month. So clearly that one's active. This one here, no posts in the last month, could be that it's not super active. So if you're looking for active groups to join and connect with people, you can find the ones that have the most folks being active. But that's how you would find the groups that you want to be a member of, searching right here. And then you can browse by location or category, tags. There are yarn swaps you can do. I mean, really, once you get into it, there's so much on Ravelry to spend hours and hours doing. So yeah, once you've searched my group, you go into once you're in there, you found it. There's a tag that says join group.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can introduce yourself, which would be nice. But yeah, that's one of the things. So the groups, let me think if there's anything else specifically right here. And then, sometimes
I have a question.
Oh yeah, let's see. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No.
I still don't understand. Say I knit one of your designs, for instance, and I wanted to take pictures and post them on the design. I'm still not clear on how to do that.
Oh, okay. So I'll do another one. So how you're okay with taking the photo on your phone or whatever, and then getting it onto your computer? Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you know the file in which your photos are. Good. That's for me and a lot of people, that can be a tricky part. All right. So let's go back to sharing. So I just signed into Ravelry, and I also want to mention, you'll notice I'm doing a lot of this on the computer and not my phone. I find Ravelry on my phone to be a little challenging. It is possible to upload and do all these things on the phone, but I find the computer to be more friendly. All right, so I'm on my main page of Ravelry and I know I have a project I'd like to post. I'm going to click projects. And right over here, I'm going to say add a project. And it's a knitting project, so I'm going to leave that there. And this is my mystery cowl 1. This is my first mystery cowl that I'm knitting. And the pattern name is what you would, this is where you would link to my pattern specifically. Mystery cowl knit along 2021. You have to be very specific here that you get the exact name right. If you are doing a test knit for me, I often give people a test knit code. This is where you would enter the test knit code. All right, but for now, assuming that you've finished a pattern, this is where you're going to write it. The exact name of the pattern. Continue. This is the one. You check that this is the right pattern, and I'm going to choose this pattern. And now here is where I fill out all of the details about my project. So I'm not going to fill out any of this information. I'm making, well, all right, I'm making it for myself. You can link it. If you made it for a friend, you can do that. If you haven't.
Shaina?
Yes.
Is that linked to Ravelry? Somebody who, like, if I made this for a friend of mine who's in Ravelry?
Exactly. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So if
Okay.
you, yeah, if I, this is you, right? Jill's student?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right. So let's say I'm making it for you. I've linked now to you.
Ah, I really should change that to Shaina's student, but okay.
Oh, no, I love it. No, you should know. We're all students of Jill. It's good.
Right, yeah.
If you have a specific date you wanted to finish it by, let's say Christmas, whatever, you can write that down. These are all details for yourself. The size you made, this is a one size fits all project. OSFA is how I write that. Add a needle. I was on a size 7 and a size 6. I'm going to fill in the gauge from the pattern. The yarn I used was Keith's, so I would fill that all in. So let's say Yarn Snob worsted. There we go. And I click that, whatever the color is, or I can just say the closest color was pink. And I used one skein. Where did I purchase it? If I had purchased it, I think I can say Knits All Done. Yeah. Oh, he's got a whole shop. Okay. So yeah, I can link there. I can write notes about this. Annual knit along. Yay. Whatever your notes are. If you have very interesting comments about the project or adaptations you've made, this would be a great place to put them for other knitters for posterity. All right. Then here is where you rate the project. You loved it. It was a great pattern. It was very clear to read. You enjoyed knitting it. And then here's how difficult you found it to be, so that on the average, when a knitter is looking at that, when a knitter is looking at that project, they can see what other people felt it looked like. Here I'm going to, so it's just going through all these things. I'm going to say in progress. I'll say I'm halfway done, even though I have finished mine. But we're not there yet. Let's see, for the mystery cowl. And then I'm going to add photos by clicking there, choose my files. And this is the one that this is the project. And again, Ravelry makes you then like confirm that you really want to upload a photo, which I didn't show you in groups. I'll show you that too. Right here, and finished with photos. And then I'm going to save. Now, if I link this in my, let's see if I can do it in my group page real quick. And I know we're over time, but I'm having fun, and I hope you all are too. If you need to leave, feel free. So I'm going to now link my project in my group. We'll see if it happens. So I'm going into my groups. I'm clicking Shaina Bilow Designs, and then Mystery Cowl Knit Along. I'm going to, sorry, I've got this. I'm going to reply to thread. Oh, well, hold on. I've got the, let's see. Sorry, my screen. There we go. Reply to thread. I'm clicking reply to thread. There we go. Finally did it. And what I'm going to write is, here's my project page for my cowl. I can't wait for the knit along. And then what you can do here is post mystery cowl, whatever you named your project. Mystery cowl number 1. That's somebody else's. Let's see if I can, it may not link exactly. Yikes. All right, so forget that because I just posted it. It might not link. It takes Ravelry a minute. Let's say I'm using a wondrous worsted. I can link a specific yarn right here. So that's right here. If you put in brackets the name of the yarn, it's Ravelry will start looking for that yarn so people can link to it. I'm using a wondrous worsted for mine and I love it. Whatever. Here's a photo of my yarn. So this is an interesting thing. Everything on Ravelry is free, right? For the most part, like anything you do on Ravelry. However, if you want to post photos in groups like I'm about to do here, use an image, you have to pay for that. That's like $5 a year to Ravelry. I believe you can find it. They might offer you that option right here if you click that to automatically pay, or you can find it, I think, in the Ravelry extras or the Ravelry shop, where you pay $5 and then you have the privilege of posting pictures. So here we go. Oh, I can use a project photo. Here we go, right there. So that came right from my own project. And again, with Ravelry, you have to confirm that that's the picture you want to use. So it's like multiple clicks to actually get a photo to go onto Ravelry. It's probably because of maybe their storage amount. They want to make sure that people aren't just randomly putting up photos. You can preview that. And there's the picture from my project. I think that might be a workaround where you maybe don't have to pay to put up pictures if you're slurping them, so to speak, from a project page that you've already put the pictures up. And then I'm going to post that reply. The people in this thread will be like, why is Shaina posting that? But you'll all know why I did that. Oops, I missed 2 things in the chat. Oh, nice to meet you, Kim. Hi. Thank you, Julie. So Linda, awesome question. Yay. Okay, so for the mystery knit along, how will I post the picture? How will I post the pattern every day? That is going to be in your library. So you purchase the pattern, and then it's going to be in your library. It'll be the top thing in your library. And then every day at whatever time I wake up to do it, there's going to be this little tab under the pattern, update. And you'll go into let's pretend it's this one, Sunday sweater. I've updated it, update this pattern. Okay. La la la. Or actually, I wonder, this might be an easier way to see it. All right, let's pretend this is it. This is the mystery knit along right here, my 8 crazy knits. We'll pretend it's the mystery knit along. I'm clicking it. And now here, there will be all these different options for you. One that says the mystery knit along information page, mystery knit along clue number 1, mystery knit along clues number 1 and 2, mystery knit along 3 and 4. So first day I'll just have clue number 1. Then I'll add so people can download clues 1 and 2, clues 1 through 3. 1 through 4, etc. So as each day comes, you'll have a new option for a new file to download in the same way you see all of these files here, if that makes sense. Okay, that's how you'll find it. It will be right here in your library. Additionally, I will be sending out, it will come as an email to you too. You'll get an email that says a pattern you've purchased on Ravelry has been updated. And so you'll get that in your email as well, where it will bring you to Ravelry to get it. And one other spot you will find it is actually right here in your messages. If you can see my mouse zipping around, right in your messages, it'll be here. Okay, so that right there means you have new messages. If you have this little mailbox with the little number above it, you've got messages, you've got mail. Let's see, I want to check the chat and see. Oh, thank you, Kim. If I answered, oh, there was a question. Hold on, Alexis. Was it right, Alexis? Was it you that wanted to see if we could leave off a certain designer from a search? I've never done that, so let's try it. Okay, so we're in patterns. I'm going to advanced search. We'll do that real quick, and then we'll say goodnight, unless there were other questions, of course. And there's so much to do on Ravelry, really, like there's tons. So this is just, the tip of the iceberg. And for me, it's so important for people to post projects because let's say right here, the Knit It Cozy sweater. It's so important for me to have people post projects of my pieces that they've finished and link them, because when I'm going on Ravelry and I look at a piece like this, I say, oh, how many people have knit it? Is it a reputable pattern? Have people made it? Okay, and of the people who made it, did they like it? How did they rate the pattern? 4.6? Okay, or no, that was actually that's the yarn that they rated. Let's find a more popular pattern. Hold on, that must be a new one. So let me go, and then we'll do the search, Alexis. Let's find one that's definitely a tried and true. Hold on one sec. Gee whiz. All right. Usually like an Andrea Mowry one is like on the top of the first page of like an oldie. All right, let's see. This one, tried and true, ranunculus. Okay, so here we go. This is the ranunculus right over here. 10,500 projects. Those are all people who have put up the pictures of their project to show everyone else what they made it in. So now here people can find out what yarns were used, what sizes people made, etc. So it's super helpful for knitters, which is why I really appreciate it when people put up their finished projects. Additionally, you have all these ratings. So 4.8, 4.6, that's probably a good pattern. And the difficulty level is not so hard. So that makes, that would make an average knitter feel like, oh, I could handle this. So it's so important to put all these patterns up anytime you've knit something.